Yeah.
Good rolling bean pie, best on earth. Baked freshly daily, rolling bean pie. Get yours today. Call us at area code 216-355-9702. We will deliver to you. Call us, get yours now. Bean pie. It's good. Yeah, I love it.
Right now to Single Parent United's own writer, co-author of Confessions of a Welfare Mom, Miss Latashia Glover. Oh! Not to put you on the spot, are you a single mom?
Yes, I am. I've been a single mom for 12 years now.
Wow, is that right?
Yes.
The S on the chest now.
Yes.
The S is on. But
yes.
I'm willing to bet after this show, she won't be a single mom too much longer looking like that, right, y'all? not with the not too much longer. You're gonna have to pass the reins of SPU down. Who loves you, baby?
I guess we're about to find out.
We're about to find out. How you doing, Miss Latashia?
I'm doing very well, very well.
Now, first of all, I have to commend you. You are very courageous for what you're doing. Not everybody want to be the voice of the voiceless. Not everyone wants to speak for a welfare mom. Matter of fact, most people are ashamed, embarrassed, or what have you, to be receiving general assistance. You know, but hey, we need it. I mean, I came up on it. You know, I was eating, you know, government cheese. Yeah, government cheese. Can't you tell? You know, then I had to swag up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Hey, he got the cheesy water. What's the cheesy water?
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's where we need to stop that, because this is one of my reasons for starting Single Parents, because I wanted to kind of take the stereotypes out of the situation. Being on welfare or being a single parent does not mean that you have or are accepting welfare benefits. It doesn't mean that you are standing in food and clothing lines. It doesn't mean that you are out here just, you know, begging and pleading and wanting and needing all the time. It's because, you know, you're a single parent, and a single parent will struggle hard but will survive harder. And they will go beyond what the call to take care of their children, as opposed to being in a two-parent household.
Right.
So, you know, myself personally, you know, I go all out for my children.
Right.
I make sure that they have everything that they need. I go without before they go without, and that's the way it should be. Single parents need to stick together, because it's hard to raise kids with two parents. So when you by yourself, you have tendencies to have nervous breakdowns and say, I can't do this and I can't do that. If you don't have that support system, not everybody has that support system.
Right.
And these days you don't have.
Did you have a support system?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You know, I'm going to say my support system is pretty much my immediate family, and that's my mother, my grandmother, my uncle. Those are the people who support me now and I don't want anybody to ever think that I don't go through that. Call me CEO, call me whatever you want to call me. I still go through things. I still struggle from day to day. I have to figure out not only how to take care of my kids every day, but now I have to run a business as well. So I'm, you know, being pulled from this way, that way, and the other way. I pray a lot.
How do you bolster your prayers? How do you fortify your prayers? How do you make your prayers turn into a realization?
Well, I've always had the belief that what is for me is for me. I don't moniker anybody else's ideas. The thoughts that come to my head are the thoughts that I believe that God himself places in me, and it goes to my heart, and that's what I try to fulfill out here in the community. An idea is just an idea until you bring it into fruition. Right. And if you say, well, if I say, well, I want to go and start a nonprofit organization.
Right.
If it's meant for me to start a nonprofit organization, then that nonprofit organization will be a success. You will have people who will acknowledge you. You will have people who will accept you, and you will have people who will hate on you.
Right.
But and that if it wasn't for me, and I've had many ideas that weren't for me and that have just gone down the tank. And what happens is it just gets deleted from my mind.
Right.
I don't really think about it at all. I do pray before I make a decision on whether I'm going to have an idea.
Well, let me ask you, what about the women that feel like, you know, they are feeling like they're going through those breakdowns, so they want to just reach out to a male, you know, I don't want to say a man, you know, they reach out to a male to bring into their situation and try to help that, and a lot of times it doesn't work out. Speak to that.
Well, let's back that up a little bit. What is the need for the man to be there? I'm not saying that a male figure doesn't need to be in the household, but you have to take take into consideration that most females these days, even in my generation, have grown up without a father being in the household. So they really don't understand what it is, including me. And they really don't understand what it is to have a man in the household and what the use of that man is. Because they haven't been taught that. So for me, even for myself to say, well, you know, I need a man in the house because I have two boys that need that guidance or whatever. You have to really be careful of what you walking into, because who's to say that man that you want to have guide your children has been guided the correct way? There's a lot of things, like I said, you have to pray about everything. You have to pray about the people that come into your life and make sure and just to understand that they are the right people. If they're not the right people, then you know you end up having nervous breakdowns and going through situations that you really didn't even necessarily have to go through, but everybody goes through their own things.
Right.
I can only advise a person and tell a person what I've gone through and to forewarn them about the things that I actually, you know, encountered.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you don't do it.
Right.
I'm never going to tell you that.
Right.
Because you have to experience that on your own. You have to go through your own storms, and you have to, you know, you have to weather them yourself.
Right.
So if don't make bringing any man into your household your priority. The priority should be the children.
Have you ever seen a situation where there was a real man or a man in the house? Have you ever been exposed to that?
I've been exposed to it as far as like seeing my friends, you know. But you know, as I grew older, I understood that, you know what I'm saying, what's done in the dark is what's done in the dark. You know, a lot of people out here portray that they're living the life, they're living the best life possible, but behind closed doors you still have women who are being beaten and children who are being beaten and neglected, and you know what I'm saying, mentally abused, physically abused. So I can honestly say that I've never seen a quote unquote Huxtable family.
Right.
I've seen two parent households.
Let me ask you, do you think it's better off when the male is in the home? Your honest, personal opinion.
Honestly, I think that a male completes a family dynamic. Yes, I do. I think that I think a woman needs companionship. I think that children need that male figure in their life. But like I said before, you have to be careful about, especially if you already have children, you have to be careful about who you bring around your children.
Right.
You know, because sometimes they could be the negative force that turns them the way that you don't want them to go.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be a biological thing.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be hereditary. Right. It's something that just rubbed off on them. Right. You know, so, you know, I'm kind of back and forth on that one.
Now, what people may not know, or they may know, is that you are a writer, and you co-authored a book entitled Confessions of a Welfare Mom. That's deep. When I heard that title of that book, I was astounded because I never heard such a thing, and we need that type of thing. Confessions of we needed to hear that point of view. When that was presented to you, because you were the co-author, that there's an original author, when you were presented this opportunity, what did you think? Did you jump on it? I mean, how did it go?
Okay, first of all, I need to clear something up. I wasn't a co-author. I'm just a contributor. There were
co-author is a contributor.
There were, you know, me myself, you know, I try to stay humble. I don't like to take I don't like to take the credit for the entire book because the entire book was a compilation, and it's many stories of some amazing women that's in that book that came out of came out of situations and wanted to tell their stories, and I'm thankful to God that I was one of them that was actually offered that opportunity. And I want to thank Kawan because it was through our conversations that, and we actually was just talking about single parents. We weren't even talking about her book Confessions, but when I told her my story of how I actually started Single Parents, then she invited me to be a part of her book, and that's how it started.
So when you got hip to the transcripts and some of these other women's stories, did it make you say, wow, I went through that too? I didn't know I wasn't the only one.
Well, my story in the book is kind of different. It really didn't entail how I was going through the welfare system or whatnot. It was something that I personally went through, and it was a story that I felt like I needed to share because there are so many women out here who go through the same thing, and I don't want my voice to be mute. Because I feel like if I bypass on myself, then there are going to be other females who bypass on themselves as well. So if I go ahead and come out here and speak, and I speak the truth, and I tell everybody, I don't have any secrets. You can ask me anything you want to ask me, whether I'm embarrassed about it or whether I feel like it's the God sign of truth. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, no matter what. So the book is something that I feel like everybody should have a copy of, not just because I'm one of the contributors of the book, but it
Where can they find the book at?
Actually, there's two places that you can go and get the book, and I have to say this. You can go to www.confessionsofawelfaremom.com and order the book directly from that site, or you can go to our website, my single parents website, which is www.singleparentsunitedcorps.org.
Now, you were saying that you are a part of Saving Daughters. What is it?
Okay. Curtis B. He's from Cleveland. Saving Our Daughters is a nonprofit organization that was started pretty much. It was another name for the organization, but however, Saving Our Daughters is an awesome organization to me because it is an anti-bullying campaign, and there are a lot of bullies out here, but it's geared towards the teenage girls, actually the preteen girls as well. So what we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to go into the junior high schools and into the high schools and start our anti-bullying campaigns, and asking the teenagers and the preteens to take an oath to stop the bullying, stop the hate, stop. You know what I'm saying? If you know anybody that's being sexually molested or anything like that, to report these things. We want to not so much stop the single parent syndrome.
Right.
If we nip it in the bud.
So you're going after the young women.
We're going after the young women, but if we nip it in the bud before it happens, then that's putting us at a 99% that it won't happen.
Right. Wow. Support Miss Latashia Glover here right there. Make sure you go get the book, Confessions of a Welfare Mom. Make sure you look into Single Parents United and find out how you can get help and find out how you can support. We love this young woman right here. We appreciate you coming out. Miss Latashia Glover. Give it up. Playa T, that's me, Hollywood in the Hood.
Are you going out tonight or this weekend? If so, you looking good. So now, why don't you get the smell good? Get your body oil only at the Playa T Oil Shop. Stop in or call us 216-355-9702. Get yours today. Oil Shop. Smell good.